Hello and welcome to Klustered. Today is episode 16 of Klustered and we will be fixing some rather broken Kubernetes clusters by two fantastic guests. Before we get started, there's just a little bit of housekeeping. If you're not already a subscriber, you should do so now. Click that subscribe button, tick the bell, get notifications for all new episodes from the Rawkode Academy. My goal is to provide the best cloud native and Kubernetes learning materials for us all to learn this vast landscape together. So we'd like you to join us. Also, if you want to chat with other cloud native and Kubernetes people, you can join us in a Discord server available at rawkode.chat. I also want to thank Teleport, who started sponsoring Klustered a few weeks ago. We've been using Teleport since the very first episode of Klustered. It is a fantastic tool, and I really appreciate their support. I won't give you the pitch for the product. You'll see it for yourself as we fix a couple of clusters in just a moment. Now, today's clusters are broken by, like I said, two fantastic guests, and I'm going to bring them in now. Here we are. Hello, Andy. Hello, Rachel. How are you both today?
Doing well, thank you.
Good, thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Can we just start with a quick round of introductions? I'll just say Andy first, since you're right next to me on the screen, and then Rachel, please tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah, so I guess I started doing Kubernetes, bare metal on-prem, and like Chef on 1.9, and then just kind of progressing the automation from Chef through Cluster API, changed gears, and now doing it for Equinix Metal on lighting up dark data centers with a global Pixie boot and Flatcar. So
Nice, thank you. And Rachel?
Yep, I'm Rachel Leekin. I'm a solution architect at VMware, helping customers modernize their applications onto Kubernetes. I started in Kubernetes probably now 3 years, more on the architect side, and then started to get down into the weeds when I joined VMware and helping customers set up their clusters. Now I'm already helping them get their applications onto clusters. A side note from that, outside, I'm a big Chelsea fan, as you can see. I had to, since we're like slight competition, I had to, represent my team, champions of Europe. So a little bit about me.
All right, thank you both very much. I'm just going to share some from the audience because I think it's really funny. But just before we went live, Rachel was informing us that you made 2 extra breaks to the cluster, which of course is wonderful. And I mentioned that a lot of breakers do that because they panic they've not broken enough or they've taken it too far. And then Andy made this face. So we've got 2 potentially disastrous clusters. And I think we should jump straight into our first one and see what we can fix. So our first cluster today is Rachel's, which means Andy, you and I are up first. Phew, okay. I'm going to click connect. Oh, my computer decides to play. There we go. I'm going to click connect on the control plane node of our first cluster. I'm going to remove that teleport. Thank you. Andy, if you can do me a favor and join a session and just type echo hello or whatever you want so that I know you're here. Wow, straight for the Vim and the bash RC. Right, there we go. And the first thing we normally do here is export our kubeconfig and check for a control plane. I will let you do that with whichever means you wish.
yeah. Sorry, I'm used to being quiet while I sit on incident calls.
Well, that's
Cool.
a good start. We got a server version.
And the Git tree is clean.
All right. What do you want to do next? I guess we should check our pods. We got some pending pods. All right. What do you want to do first?
Let's look at kube system. Looks like pod networking is a little borked.
Yeah, I see 2 terminating core DNS, 2 pending, some broken ciliums. Yeah, quite a lot broken.
Yeah.
Do you want to... Shall we describe something and see if we can get some error messages?
think we should take a look at the not ready Cilium logs. Okay. 10. It's a common port. I see it all the time. What is that?
That is one of the API server ports. I'm assuming our node-to-node networking is broken. Nice alias. I like that.
Yeah, I believe I got that from Mr. Brent Buckley in the chat when we were at SendGrid together. Well, it looks like the scheduler was bounced recently. Well, that's different. No, I think they probably have changed how describe works, because I know that used to work.
You spelled system wrong in your alias.
Okay.
At least that's an easy fix. Our colleague, our joint colleague Zoe, is laughing at your thinking face.
Oh, would you look at that? Images. That looks like the official image.
So what were you checking for there?
Well, I noticed that the scheduler was bounced 14 hours ago. So I assumed that bounced because Rachel did something.
I did something, but I didn't know that's what I was doing.
Keep it. And then for people who don't know, the word caret is a sed in your last history entry. Okay, so Kubelet seems back
running, yeah. Scheduling disabled on both the worker nodes. You think that's just a cordon?
Yeah, I mean, to put that in the status is typically what that would mean.
Okay.
Creating container. Ambassadors coming up. Looks like core DNS came up. I'm guessing we have to hop onto the other two nodes and enable kubelet.
Why did you think that? Sorry.
These are still stuck in creating. In my iTerm,
Taking with an audience is always fun.
Well, it's also in iTerm, when you highlight something, it automatically goes to your paste buffer.
Ah, of course.
So
I mean, it looks like it's pulling the image.
yeah, looks like an official Postgres image.
Which means we do have a kubelet. Would you like me to open up a shell on one of those nodes?
Oh, there they go.
You were just being impatient. I would never do such a thing.
Are we supposed to have 3 Postgres?
Nope. Although I don't think it matters, to be fair. They don't use any volumes. They load up. Sorry, Rachel?
I was just trying to deflect, just I was putting on my developer hat. I was like, why do we just have one? That doesn't, make sense. So
the 3 is not a problem though. Like I said, there's no volumes. They load everything via an init container into the database.
Yeah, except then the traffic's going to get split by Cilium to 3 different pods. And if they're not set up in an HA replica master whole shindig, it's potentially not going to render correctly. I assume Cluster talks to it. I actually didn't spend any time looking at your application.
Root. So Clustered speaks to each Postgres. They're not clustered. Like I said, the data is also static, so you could have 50,000 Postgres. It would be all right. But yeah, Brent, we can clean it up over here.
No ingresses.
There's no ingress, but we do use the teleport proxy feature. So if I jump along here and click applications, we should be able to click Clustered. Give it a few seconds while it does the proxy magic. And we have an internal server error on our application. So, our cluster.
So I broke it correctly. Yes.
Sorry?
I broke it correctly.
I will point out that this is not my application reporting this internal server error, I don't think. So, we've got some work to do. I was hoping you were being nice to us, Rachel, and it was just a kubelet in the scheduler. Is that not it?
That was the basis for it. And then I was like, that's not enough. I gotta break some more things, slight things.
So that image is correct, GHCR. So it's GitHub Container Registry, Rawkode Clustered V1.
Image, container port.
Looks good.
That's a problem.
What's the problem?
The limit.
Yeah.
It's only getting 1 millisecond of CPU time per second. So, right. So that would cause basically constant throttling. Because I'm not even sure how many.
I don't think 1 is a appropriate value for CPU. It would need to be one
no, it can
down.
be a string or an integer.
But 1, would that be a core or 1 millicore?
1 core. So the suffix. Oh, chat's telling me I missed something in memory. No, 128. I assume would be fine.
So what's the deal with if you set CPU to 1 without the M prefix? It just defaults to
One vCPU, yeah.
Right. Okay.
So that's something that the Cube community spent a lot of time centralizing. So if you're in vSphere, AWS, Azure, or on bare metal, it guarantees you roughly the same amount of compute time. And so the way to read just an integer 1 would be like 1 second of compute time per 1 second of human time.
Okay, got it.
See if that redeployed. Do you want to try to hit the service again?
I'd love to. Let's see. It could be cached, so let me... It is still broken.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, so the average load looks fine. So I don't think we're getting CPU pegged. Let's see. If she did that in one place, she may have done it in another. Let me go through my bash history to see if I can find a useful JQ command. So basically what I want to do is just go through all the containers and look for their resources and limits.
So you can just do kube control edit pod, and it'll give you all of them. As a single document in Vim.
Yes. Or
I'm learning some new commands over here. Nice.
or like that. So let's see. One.
Looks good.
200 probably fine. Unset. This is core DNS because they are so particular about the amount of RAM they use.
What, the 170?
Yeah, they are insistent that that is enough for every pod you could possibly ever need.
There you go.
Okay, so... Yep,
okay, so we've got our pod running. But when we try to browse to it through teleport, we're getting an internal server error.
Now, how does teleport work?
So we expose the service is a node port service on the node, and teleport is proxying to that node port service. So if you do that, yep, there we go. You should see we have a...
Well, those don't have IPs.
Yes, and it looks like our clustered service has been either modified, deleted, but something else created. That cluster service isn't mine, the load balancer.
I think the other hint is the age on it. External traffic policy won't apply to node ports. How do I want to do this? If this yells at me, I'm just deleting it.
Yeah, you could probably set that to node port, and I think the first 5 lines of that spec can be deleted and inferred on the next creation.
Ah. The traffic policy should only matter if, like, Matt Anderson applied more cluster network policies. Speaking of, I might have done a lot of research, and that episode was brutal.
Cilium network policies can trip you up, that's for sure. I had no idea about the Cilium host network policies. Those are dangerous.
Okay. Does Ambassador need to be fixed? No.
No, Ambassador does not need to be fixed.
Okay. Do you want to try to load the application?
Yeah, I still don't think it'll work because of the cluster IPs and that service. So, do you mind if I type?
Yeah, go for it.
So
You're like right there, Andy. You're like you're right there.
I think we can just remove all of these. I don't think they're
Okay.
doing anything for us. And I don't even remember if that's the correct node port, so I might have to check our teleport config.
Node port would complain at you. Actually, I was going to just delete it and recreate it through kexpose.
It's not letting me delete those anyway. So what was I complaining about? Was it? Okay. Yeah, let's check the port. 31644. 30,000 is the node port we expect.
You guys are so logical with this. I was just like really breaking it like a developer. I was just like, I don't know anything about Kubernetes, so I'm just gonna break everything. I want my app to work or not work. I really put on my developer hat. Have never touched Kubernetes and just broke it.
All right, it's still not working. I'm going to click on it just in case. But...
.spec. So one useful command is the explain command. It's kind of like having built-in docs. So
do you want to do it on a shared buffer?
Yeah.
The explain command is cool.
Yeah, if people don't know about this, you can basically give it a path in the spec of the object, and it explains it. So that being said, Rachel did create the service, so I'm highly inclined to just delete the service.
Okay. We can always reapply it from source, I guess.
Yeah. Where's the source at? Is it here?
Rawkode cluster.
Oh, hold on. What's that? Did you make that file?
No.
Oh, is that UTC? That's probably UTC, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like a backup.
It does look like a backup.
That was your magic key. That was like the secret Easter egg in there I was trying to hide for you.
All right, we're getting the watch, which means we can try and upgrade our application from V1 to V2 and see if we get the happy dance.
How many BOGO MIPS do these computers have? Oh, wow, that's a lot.
These are our C1 smalls on Equinix Metal.
Okay, yeah.
So I think they're maybe 32 cores, 16 gig of RAM, or 32 gig of RAM and 16 cores. I can't remember.
There's 8 CPUs. Why, if I had to build a service, I might do it on Equinix Metal myself.
It is nice having access to the metal, I've got to say. Let's test our application. I think that's still the watch, isn't it? Yeah, let's refresh. Come on, browser, pull the new one. I don't know if that's updated yet.
Looks like it's up.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
We have the dance. All right, good job, Andy. Thank you, Rachel.
Andy, it wasn't that bad. I gave you that hint. I
That's-
broke some other things, but they were all more distractions than actually breaking it, as you can see.
What other things were hiding for us if we managed to accidentally pick them up?
Yeah, Noel got one. I changed some port protocols and just little things, port values, just in other places, just to distract you guys.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much.
Cool, cool.
All right, let's jump over. Let's swap places. Klustered. Pull up Andy's. Maybe.
All right.
All right, I'll just tape it then. Okay. I have teleport running with Andy's cluster. I will click connect and open the control plane node. Rachel, if you can get logged in, join a session, give me an echo, let me know that you're here. Andy, feel free to have a laugh. Let us know if we're on the right or wrong track.
I'm going to be laughing at myself. So.
Awesome. Okay, so step one is typically to export a kubeconfig and check if we have a control plane. Feel free to do that however you wish.
All right. Let me. Have anything saved? Oh. Let's see. What's the? I don't remember the stuff.
Admin.com. Yeah, you've got it.
All right. Let's see. I don't use any alias, so I'm just lazy and I never remember anything. So. Oh man, are you killing me already, Andy?
I don't think that's kube control. I think Andy's been cheeky.
Andy, really? How could you do this to me already?
I'll be honest.
I don't even know.
No, David's right. That is cheeky.
Okay.
So.
Let me see.
Let's just open it in Vim and see what he's left for us.
Okay. That's just. What are we got anything on here? What's this? I just see what this is.
You're both just leaving random. Yeah. Oh, I left that random line.
Okay.
I was like,
Sorry, hold on. I'll clean up after myself.
What's where are we
curious.
at here?
Yeah. I think I don't think that's going to be a binary. I don't know if you think the same, but maybe we should just open it and see.
Okay. You want to open the which binary? The kubectl
Yeah.
binary. Okay.
I think that. I mean, do you expect this to be a binary, or do you think this is going to be a bash script that just prints out a crappy sentence?
I've never seen anything like this. That's
it's
what
a
I want.
binary.
I've never got that message before when I worked.
I think.
So.
Oh. All right. Okay. So only does it when we have a sub command.
Oh my gosh. Did you break the cluster? Or did you break kubectl? Which one did you break?
I'll give you guys a hint. Have you guys ever had to try to find like what messages are embedded in a binary?
Uh-huh.
What command would you use for that?
So we can use strings on. No, it is strings, right? String.
Yeah. Oh no. You might have to install it.
Yeah, I think I'd need to install maybe Elf Utils or Estrus. But I don't think we should. Should we just remove kube control and reinstall it?
I'm trying to see if there's any hints online that I'm missing. What else?
Oh, dependency warnings. Blah 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 blah.
Jeremy says honk. Need some help, guys. What's this might be? Oh, okay. Should we look at backup admin config file?
Well, I was hoping we'd have a kube control package file lying around, which I thought was in var cache app, but it does not appear to be there. So I'm probably just looking in the wrong location. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be there. Okay.
Let's see.
But we could always just curl, download kube control from GitHub release and use that. Unless Andy's trying to tell us or take us on a journey with his randomly compiled binary.
Well,
Can we
I
look
will
at
say, so sometimes a standard practice is to install stuff under /opt as optional software for, according to GNU.
Do not look here.
okay.
Yeah, that's
jump in
private.
that directory and we'll take a look.
Please
Yeah.
respect my privacy.
Oh, I didn't change the path. I just did it out there.
Oh.
Sorry.
Alright, what's the wait, what is that? Is that a what does that green represent? I don't know.
Green is executable. So there's a Linux command we can run, type, which will tell you if it's a binary or script, or we could just open it in Vim. I generally just use Vim. Or file, sorry.
I would use file.
Yeah.
You want so Vim?
Yeah, I would just open it in Vim. Yeah.
I feel like that's unsafe, but I feel like.
All right. Well, we know that we have a
ruin
binary.
credibility if I told you it was safe.
So I suspect this is either the bad binary, or maybe it's a backup that's decoyed as a bad binary and might be a working kube control.
I don't think it's a bad binary.
Yeah, I think that's a real kube control. Just called home.
Can I do where was that command? Can I export this instead? Is that what I would do? I'm guessing.
Well, we could just alias kube control to /opt, do not look here honk, or we can take the sledgehammer approach and move honk into user bin kube control.
Let's move it.
Yeah, I think that'll save us getting caught up under our own feet, I think.
I'm gonna copy here.
It's just user bin on this machine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't like the word honk though. All right,
just overwrite kube control. Like whoever that other kube control is, I don't care.
Okay.
Sledgehammer, just smash that thing away. Okay. So we should be able to run a kube control get pods now.
I'm gonna get out of this unsafe directory here.
All right, now we have a broken control plane, which I think we can start to debug.
Okay. Should I look at? Let me see. Did you what do you have in these in here? Did you break anything here? Where should we start? You said control.
So, I mean, I think a good thing would be to do an ls minus l and check the timestamps. Although they mean nothing, they're people normally aren't sneaky enough to hide them. But that one of them stands out to me that it may be modified.
Um. Okay.
I've got a
cube zip. Is that the one that you're suspecting?
no, I think the API server. It was modified today.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. They all look like 20 to me. Okay. Okay. Let's take a look. And where's all my comments? Everyone was helping out Andy. Now everyone's quiet. I want just as much help now. I want more because, as you can see, I made mine pretty straightforward.
All right, I'll talk more.
No. I want the audience to participate. They were like comments galore for Andy. I don't feel the same love, so it's okay. It's okay. I'll figure it out.
I mean, one thing is how are static manifests deployed?
How are they deployed? And is there any difference here, David, in teleport? Or it's like
so what we've got here is what looks like a standard API server so far. Although that's sneaky. Why are you deploying your own version of the API server, Andy? You're just testing out a new version, a new feature flag?
Well, I mean, have you ever, you want to make a change, and then it's just really hard to deploy that locally on Docker for desktop.
So, sorry. I think we should do a grep image across all these. And we'll see that the standard path or prefix for control plane components is kubernetes.gcr.io. So let's modify the API server not to use quay.io/a Holtzmann.
Okay. I was gonna look at mine to just take that one in case anything. You changed even that. I'm not sure anymore.
Well, that's the joy of Klustered. It plays tricks on your minds.
Yeah, so. I'm like, let me just look to make sure. I'm gonna just look at mine really quickly. My eyes are not deceiving me.
I'll just check if there's any other red headings in this file before I replace the image.
Oh, there's not.
Oh, that was very kind of you to tell us.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Is he using 21.1? Is that what he has there?
No, I think it was 21.2. I think.
Yeah, sorry. Right. Yeah, it is. It's right. Okay, just making sure that he didn't switch one number on this.
Well, I thought about running the 122.rc, but
what, just deprecate all the ingress and mutate and webhook namespaces? Yeah, that would be nice.
Pull out the pod spec.
Rachel, do you want to try a control plane command again, like get pods or something, and see if it's a simple fix?
No. Not yet. Just look over at it just one more time.
Oh no, that is correct. You've restored that file.
So the kubelet is responsible for running this, so we should check the kubelet is running.
Anywhere else in here before we?
I don't think so. I would try system control status kubelet.
Alright, cool system control. What's it? Kubelet.
It's system control status kubelet.
Ah.
I think Naveen is trying to be helpful.
Oh.
Yeah, we could check the admin conf. He could have modified that, but we also do have kubelet errors here.
Control plane. Okay, watch service. Okay. So
Okay, so our kubelet is running. So we probably want to check that the API server has been restarted. I would just use PS with your favorite arguments if you have any.
I don't really go into this level of depth, so I just kind of like I have to look it up every single time. But okay,
It's all right. Okay, so I like AUX. Just don't ask me what they mean. They're just ingrained now in my memory. But it doesn't look like we have an API server running, even though we do have a kubelet running. So the container logs live in var log containers, and I suspect. Oh, we're not getting anything here either. That's tricky.
That is interesting.
So that means one of two things in my head. Either he's modified where static manifests are supposed to live and our change was ignored.
Could
or be. Were you going to say something?
Let's look. Go ahead, Andy.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised as you are that there's no logs there.
All right, okay, so you haven't changed the static manifest. All right, I'm going to restart the kubelet, which has always caused me problems in the past, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Let's do it.
Do we want to check the admin config file as well afterwards?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea too. I'm just... there we go. It seems to be doing stuff now. So, not good stuff because we've got error messages, but we have stuff. So, do we have an API? No, we don't. And we don't have any logs from our API server. What have you done, Andy?
Remember that face I made? You might have felt like mind games, but we're at the same point at this juncture.
So this is unexpected behavior.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. All right. We've got to get our thinking hats on here, Rachel.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's go back real quick and just look at the config files as well. Rule those out.
Yeah. Let's rule it out. I don't know why I'm going to refresh my tab as well. Got a wee tools tip.
You want me to wait?
There we go. No, it's okay. Go for it.
Okay. Looks okay.
I think the only thing I'd really be interested in here is that server URL, which I think is okay. At least the port.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to think aloud because I'm not sure what our next step is. So the kubelet is responsible for starting all of our containers. We're not even seeing any log output from the API server, which makes me think the kubelet either can't speak to container D or container D just isn't doing what we want it to do. So I think we should check the status of container D using system control. That's kind of where my head's at.
Okay.
I'd also like to point out I did already set the runtime socket for you.
You are so kind, even though I don't like you right now. So, container D responded, and it running. There was an error message there though.
Where?
Oh, I couldn't pull the image. Did I mess that up?
It looked like the same one that I had.
Oh, look at that. It's a TLS error. I must have messed up the path, right? I didn't.
No, it looks the same of what I had.
Are we really unfortunate in GCR is having problems?
I don't think so. I'll check from my side.
What's the container D command? CTR image pool. Let's just try Docker IO Nginx first. No. Is it just CTR pool? I can't remember. Hey, chat, help us out.
CRI cuddle pull.
Oh, CRI like control. Okay, yeah, that pulls an image.
Okay. So container config file, where's
Maybe
that?
it's not pulling an image.
Right.
That.
I see nothing on my screen.
Okay, so there's a really cool containerd command called config dump. We don't have a containerd config.
That's really interesting. I
don't think I've ever had it do that before. Okay, so we can take a look at the drop-ins for containerd. Have you used containerd's plugin alias feature to move the GCI repository just before I start going down the wrong path?
No,
No.
That's already been done. I tried to avoid prior art.
Okay, then I'm really confused about this.
Yes, sir.
That should work.
What's that?
Did you? Is something you broke with teleport?
No, that only broke on the worker nodes, but I fixed it because I tried to follow the rules of engagement, which set me on my own questions. We are in this together now. I'm just being quiet.
I'm going to try and pull this from my local machine before I start debugging the wrong thing.
Might I recommend not pulling the one I created?
Yeah, I won't do that. All right, here is my terminal. Oh, I don't even have Docker open. Fine, we'll use this. Docker image pool. And give Docker a few minutes to start. Yeah, if we can't pull the API server image, we might have to just use Andy's API server. Is it fixable?
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
Here.
So, okay, so we're getting TLS errors, right? What are the things that can lead to
Are those
TLS
expected?
errors?
I thought those were unexpected errors.
Sort of, but they're related to other errors I found.
Right, okay.
I'll be honest. I had to stop my break when this broke too much.
Okay. Well, if those TLS errors are expected, then okay, we can debug that. I thought it was an external factor. So.
What about our? Oh. Should we hop on the worker node and check our certs or something on there?
So if we can't pull the image on this control plane node, then I feel like our I'm going to get this wrong, so someone can try and correct me. But there is a certificates package from Ubuntu which installs all of the root CAs that we can trust.
Yep.
Now, if those, oh sorry, we can maybe just reinstall that package and see if that fixes it. And if failing that, we may need to dig into it a little bit deeper. So there is a app install. Oh.
CA-certificates.
CA certificate. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, I had to put it in the container I built.
And we can do reinstall. Does that work?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ah, so you have broken more things.
This was not an intentional break. Yeah.
All right, we have no networking. Or we have limited networking because teleport's working. But I don't suppose you're a networking expert, Rachel.
Nope,
Neither
that's
am
my
I.
topic.
So
Okay. Ooh.
Okay. Now, Noel in chat suggested that it could be DNS, but we couldn't ping 8.8.8.8. And in fact, we can't even do an IP tables -L.
but Cilium doesn't use IP tables.
We better not have an eBPF probe on my machine.
What did you do, Andy? Oh man.
Digging a hole. So now I'm just scanning the process table to see if I can see anything that I don't expect to be on this machine that would be running the eBPF probe. If it's Cilium, we'd maybe have to kill Cilium.
I couldn't tell you what that's going to do.
Okay, so let me... I think Andy has deployed some sort of Cilium traffic policy to the cluster, then broken the control plane, removing our ability to remove such dodgy policy. Is that close? No?
So that's actually a really good theory about what probably happened. However, I will say that this break got away from me. And when you hit the app install, we are now at the same point in trying to fix this cluster. Which is otherwise to say, I'm not entirely sure this is recoverable without like a Cube ADM reset.
Well, it will be recoverable, right? So what can we do here? We have...
Russell has a good suggestion.
Filter.
I don't know what... My BPF from a Linux command line is very, very poor. Is that a command or is that a process?
Okay. Let's see what that does.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. So I think Cilium is responsible for the BPF. I don't think you compiled your own binary and ran it on the machine because I didn't see anything that looked particularly bad. Which means I'm going to kill the Cilium pod.
Okay.
Which should
Cilium
remove...
was the part of what I wanted to break. So that is a good... So I did set Cilium into a crash loop back off before I toyed with the API server.
Okay. So it's running.
Okay, so Russell suggests, yeah, BPF filter is a running process, and those are normal. They're kernel processes, I think. I don't want to go destroying it because I don't think removing the probe will block the traffic. I think Cilium would need to exit. One way to find out. Let's stop the kubelet first.
Okay.
Let's grab our Cilium. We don't have a Cilium.
It was in a crash loop. And then the API server went down, so there was nothing telling Kubelet to try to redeploy it.
But I have a pod running. Well, it doesn't mean there's any container, so... Okay. Alright, we actually don't have Cilium. Wow, this cluster's screwed.
Okay, so how do we get Cilium?
We could reboot the machine with the kubelet disabled, which would get his networking back.
That's
Okay.
a step I didn't.
But as punishment for doing this, Andy would have to tell jokes and entertain the audience until the bare metal machine rebooted. So,
Hey, luckily it's a C1 small. These things boot fast.
all right.
Actually, I can tell the story of my initial break, and maybe that can help us figure out what went wrong with what I did.
All right. So I've disabled the kubelet. I'm going to reboot. You happy with that plan?
Yep. If it was me, it would have just been destroyed already, the cluster, but that's just me. I would have been like, let's just spin up a new one.
Yeah.
Forget this stuff.
You've got all that VMware power. It's easy to do that.
Yep.
All right, I'm rebooting it. Let's go for it.
So
we've disabled the kubelet, which should give us an opportunity to make sure networking and image pools work before we start it back up again. But do you want to tell us a story then?
So I wanted to approach this with a teachable moment and issues that I've come up to in production. And one of the most frustrating ones is when there's a disk error and the Linux kernel decides to remount the file system as read-only. Now, inducing a disk error is actually really difficult, but there's a way to send a message to the kernel to tell it, make the file system read-only. Except it's a sledgehammer. It should only be used in kernel development. And then I did it. And then I tried to connect with teleport. And then teleport broke. So I undid it because what I wanted to do is I wanted to, without breaking all the process, render etcd in a read-only state. However, that was only a part of it. The next thing I wanted to do was when you fixed the etcd issue, Cilium would come back, and it would notice that I changed the pod IP spaces. So I would have reassigned the pod signer per node, and each node's in read-only. So then it tries to recreate all the pods, and they get stuck not being able to create the sandbox, and you have to go figure out why those nodes are stuck. But that wasn't going to work because it broke teleport, and I wanted to follow the rules of engagement. So, is it all right if I screen share?
Yeah, go for it if you want. Noel has kindly pointed out in the chat that this is the first ever reboot on Klustered, which is true.
All right. Well, what happens when I click this button? Oh, I need to.
So he's like, poor cluster. What did you do to this poor cluster? What did you do to me, Andy? What did I gave you something real? I gave you like you gotta reboot the whole thing.
Oh no, I'm going to have to. Will the link you sent me work to rejoin?
Yes, but if you're on a Mac and it's permissions, you can just enable the permissions. You don't actually need to restart your browser.
Okay, so later. Yeah. Share. Is it working?
Yep. So he broke away.
Yes, it is.
So, what I did was I had an idea for creating a read-only API server that when you make a request to write something, it would silently delete the key you just wrote and then tell you it succeeded from this transaction. Hold on. Oh no, I'm sorry. I just wanted to do this. And so.
Can you zoom in on the editor?
Yes. I think. There we go. Right. So what I did is I gave it some time to settle after the API server comes up, and then it would delete every key. So that way, when you try to change the deployment, it would delete the deployment. And I had verified that working on local Kubernetes cluster I spun up. And so when I went to move it over, what I needed to do was retag the image and push it to a local Docker registry running on the host. However, this thing happened where it took more than 15 minutes to figure out how to do that with CRI-CTL, because that's not a feature it has. So then I went to go install Docker, and Docker wouldn't install because it couldn't resolve the Ubuntu things. And that's when I realized how badly I had broken this cluster. And so I have this concern that kubelet triggered a delete of the master node, and it's struggling to re-register itself for some reason.
All right.
So that's kind of my working theory. Because what I was going to do, and something I had verified, was working, was I could delete, or with Dockerd, I was able to change Etsy host to kates.gcr.io and pull my malicious image and make it look like the real image. And the breadcrumb there would be, if you did a kubectl version, it would have told you the Git tree was dirty. Or if you checked version on the binary itself in the container, or if you looked at the binary and you realized it was like over a gig. So there were a couple of breadcrumbs, because what I wanted to highlight is that Dockerd at least doesn't support HSTS. So man-in-the-middle DNS attacks are totally possible for injecting malicious images if you want. Was kind of two things. One, a read-only server can create a bad day. Two, DNS attacks really suck. And so I'm not sure why HTTPS isn't working on Containerd, because I don't think they support HSTS either. So they're not insisting on HTTPS. It's just not able to dial out, I think, is that error. So if networking comes back, you might be onto something.
So far, we don't have a bare metal machine yet. All right, I'm going to go to my Equinix console and see where we are in this reboot. You may have clustered our first cluster as well.
I was asked to break it, and I almost started a new cluster because I thought I broke it too much.
Yeah, we said break it, not destroy it of the earth. You know?
Yeah. It's silly of me for having a rule that the only thing you don't need to do is break teleport, which you didn't. Ish. Okay.
Are you going to look at the
cool, I mean,
okay, so I've got my screen share back. What we can see here is I can actually SSH on. Oh, there's a starting point. Drag that up. I don't think we have teleport quite yet. My computer is crawling.
No, I can't get in there yet.
Okay, so let's see if teleport started. What have I got running? Oh, Docker. Oh, see, this is why we don't leave Docker running. Docker.
Oh, that fake kubectl binary. All it did was exec the real kubectl binary and then randomly print honk or make it a rainbow printout. So it was just there as a little bit of mental warfare, because it literally just execs that binary with the args and then pipes the information back. So that was supposed to be fun, except I broke it too much and you just saw the error message in rainbow print.
Okay, so here's where we are. We have the machine. Unfortunately, we can't get teleport working because it relies on the BGP advertisement from KubeVip. And in order for KubeVip to run, I need to start the kubelet. If I start the kubelet, things are going to break. So
I didn't know KubeVip was doing BGP.
Yes, I really need to make sure teleport runs on the bare metal IP instead of the BGP. That's just a rookie mistake by me.
So to induce the crash loop for Cilium, since it's Cilium 110, I enabled BGP in Cilium.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what BPF rules that might have installed.
I don't know what to do.
I don't either.
I think let's see. Well, I can't. Well, I can't get back onto teleport.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, I can start the kubelet, which will get teleport running, but the minute Cilium comes back up, it's potentially going to remove all networking. Is that right?
oh,
No, well, let's just do it because we don't have any other options right now.
yeah.
Because if Cilium's configured, we need etcd to run anyway to be able to fix that.
Rachel, I sent you the public IP of the host so you could SSH if you wanted.
Ah, okay.
Both your keys aren't on all devices.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to avoid a KubeDM reset. I mean, I guess we could walk through a KubeDM reset, couldn't we? But then we'd have to bring all the other nodes online, redeploy the workload.
That's what I would have done by now. I'm just like, let's just redeploy everything, forget fixing it. Kind of just.
Yeah, let's just run Minikube. Screw it, that's easier. No.
This is why we got our, deployment.
I'm just going to leave the ping running and see what happens
here. And you get paid like extra to like really break stuff. Like, is this something you really see customers?
So I tend to call it chaos engineering, and my manager before has told me in order to be chaos engineering, I have to know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, KubeVip has been up for 34 seconds, so it should be hopefully beginning to advertise that address and get us back onto teleport. Let's make sure it's not crashing.
Okay.
Pick that one.
According to the staff console, BGP looks up.
Maybe it's the wrong. Oh, yeah, that's the 21st, that log. Okay. What is the other one? Yep, this is today's. It started advertising. We should. At the very. Oh, no. There we go. Restart. Teleport. Okay. Do we have teleport?
Not yet.
Oh, good. That's broken now.
Technically, I wasn't the one who broke teleport this time.
Well, I can't speak to Q, so restart it. Okay, teleport is up.
Yeah, all right. I'll have to wait for you to start the session again.
Okay, we have a new session.
All right, let me jump back in.
And we haven't lost networking yet, so we actually might be in the clear.
Okay.
It's actually a really good point.
You're not allowed to SSH and run anything.
Did I join?
So you might want to check Etsy hosts.
Hey David, I can't. I'm not in that session. It's not. I don't see it as active for me. Hold on. Oh, forgot. Never mind. Hold on. Need to sign in.
Ah, okay, cool.
I'm like looking at my session. Like, we can continue since we're closing on time here.
All right. Well, our kubelet and containerd are trying to pull down our image. It's failing to resolve it for the TLS error, but we do still have networking.
So, do you remember when I said I wanted to man in the middle DNS?
Yes.
How could I do that on the local host?
You could just modify. Ah. Okay. So that should hopefully pull our API server image. Oh, good. I think you just joined a session there, right?
Yep. My screen looks a little wonky.
Yeah, just give it a wee reset. So while you were joining, we opened the host file and seen that Andy was pointing cates.gcr.io to our local machine.
There we go. Yeah. Cool.
That means it's done.
Okay.
Okay. Restart the kubelet. Oh no. Restart everything again. I don't know.
Let's.
Look at that. We finally have an API server.
Yay. All right.
Do you want to try get pods, get nodes, and actually see if we get a response from this stupid cluster?
Get anything?
There we go.
Ooh. Okay.
All right. Do you want to try updating our clustered deployment to V2?
I was gonna just see if it's actually running on the application. Do you want to, or you could show if it, check it. Oh,
that's a good idea.
Before I change anything there. Nope. Internal server error. Okay. I swear, I think I saw. No, that's 2 days ago. Let's see, yeah. Did you do anything else, Andy? Or can I just work in the manifest now? This part.
Yeah, I think we can just work with, hopefully, with the Kubernetes API now.
Hey, David, could you do me a favor? I put a copy of the kubectl back on there in the root home directory. Could you like a kubectl, so /kubectl get pods -A, so people can see the fun I had put in there?
Is this the broken one?
Yes.
Oh.
Nice.
So,
very nice.
And then you still got the honk in there. I see it. Okay.
It's not like a Merry Christmas.
It's hurting my eyes a little bit, but
yeah. Let's
I'm like, what am I looking at? Okay.
So we don't have any core DNS. I think that's why our application isn't working.
Oh, unknown. There we go. All right. Oh, so let's see. Core DNS. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna just. Wait, did you do? Oh, you got all pods and all the namespaces, everything. Oh wait, get. Namespace represents our DNS, our deployment. Let's look at that.
I don't think I've ever seen status unknown before.
Yeah. And there's our daemon set here. Got nothing there. DNS. Looks. Pods. Okay. I'm gonna take a. Huh?
Go ahead. On you go.
No, I'm just gonna take a look here and here really quickly. Just see what's going on.
So, a hint as we're butting up closer. I don't know if you remember, but when I was looking at Rachel's cluster, I noticed pods weren't deploying, and I looked at the CNI first.
Okay. So I guess you're telling me to look in the CNI first. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So.
I mean, we already know he enabled BGP in the Cilium config.
Okay. Where is
That he
the
did.
Cilium config though? Where is that?
I think there's a config mapping cube system.
Okay. This one here?
Yeah, I think that's the one. So we probably want to edit that and take a look for that BGP thing, disable it, and then do a rollout of the Cilium pods, I think.
Where would it be? Where was disabled?
You might just want to search for BGP. I'm not entirely sure what lives in this config. That's the only one?
Yeah. So you said you need to build it. So we got to put it to true? I forgot what you said.
No, I don't think we want to put that to true. Let's see what else we've got.
Okay. Cluster name. Okay, I'm gonna have to cheat and look at my cluster because I didn't touch these things. So I just want to take a look at it really quickly, see what's the difference. I'm just taking a quick look here. Let's see. So it looks like you added something to.
Oh, did you turn off IPv6 masquerade? Because you should.
IP. What'd you say? Sorry, Miss Andy. What'd you say? That last part.
That was true, right?
No.
Oh. Whoops.
Should IPv4 masquerade be true?
Oh, yes.
I'll just pretend I know what those settings are, but I have no idea.
IPv.
I'm pretty sure IPv6 shouldn't be disabled. It shouldn't be enabled either. I don't think I shipped that enabled.
In this one, in mine, it's. Oh, your screen's really. Let me look at my screen. One of them, IPv6 is false on my untouched version. Let's see.
All right, I've copied that. What about IPv4 masquerade? Is that true or false?
That is true. And then IPv6 masquerade is true on mine. And let's see, enable policy default remote identity. Oh, so those look good to me. Oh wait a minute. Disable TLS is. Let me see. Sorry. Oh, I touched it while you were. That is false on mine.
Well, it's just Hubble stuff. I think we can ignore the Hubble.
Okay. Everything else looks.
I mean, let's jump out of this for a second, right? Because
okay.
We have 2 running operators. We've got 1 unhealthy, which I'm assuming this is this node. Let's pull out the logs. See if we can see anything. Too noisy. So we could just try and roll out, restart. Can you not do a label here?
I would do ds/Cilium. You can tell to do the daemon set that's named Cilium instead of by label.
Let's see if that helps. I have no idea.
Okay.
But we definitely need one of those Cilium pods to be running.
Let's see.
So while this comes up, could you run that for my binary? Because there was another Easter egg in there based off how you ran that command.
It's not going to actually do anything though, right?
No.
Is that your Easter egg?
Yeah. So that when you would try to look for stuff in the kube system, it wouldn't find it. But if you actually take the space out of between the -n argument, it will work.
All right. It looks like we have some working Cilium, which I'm happy with. Next problem is we got broken core DNS, which might just need a restart.
Okay.
Wrong argument count or unexpected line.
Nice.
Okay. Did you break core DNS too?
What? Did I continue my DNS malicious activity? I don't know. Did I?
You're still not invited back. So this is our core DNS config, which again I have no idea what is actually supposed to be in here. But I don't see anything that gives me concern.
Is it the Prometheus? Ready, cluster circle. Is that IP6 supposed to be doing anything, or?
I don't.
Is it?
I'm guessing. I think this is okay because this is saying Kubernetes plugin. This is the cluster DNS name, cluster.local.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means if he's not modified that, he's modified this.
Quickness, config. I think the image looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Is it supposed to be UDP protocol for one of them?
Yes.
I think that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. So the error message was complaining about. Sorry, I'm scatterbrained today. It's complaining about the resolve.conf. But I don't see that mounted.
I didn't change the core DNS deployment.
Right, well, why am I wasting my time in here? So, I mean, it just uses the hosts, right?
Does it? Does Kilo just put the host in the container?
Is it check the deployment of core DNS?
Unless it's using the systemd resolver.
So on Ubuntu 20.04, the systemd resolver is actually an act. It's not exactly a symlink, but systemd is what writes the etc resolve dconf. I did not change that.
So null is saying check the kubelet config file and see which DNS and resolve conf file it's using.
Yep, we can do that.
Let's see.
It's using the systemd resolver. I guess we should look in that file. My systemd is it's the same as successor resolve.
Yeah.
But how does that's all host level settings. How does the container have DNS?
By magic? I don't know. So,
what else? Well,
I mean, can we get
Also-
in that pod? Let's try that. I think it's a distro list, isn't it though?
Also, I would double check the core DNS config map.
Okay.
I'd compare it to another one on that forward line.
Do you have a healthy one there, Rachel?
Yeah, let me look at mine.
Kubernetes is the plugin. Cluster.local is the domain for the cluster. Maybe it is that other nonsense.
Okay. Let me look at yours. Let's see where we are. Okay. So fall through TLS. So I got mine is core errors lame dot. Hold on. I gotta put it side by side here.
The last time someone modified this config map, they gave me a Unicode lookalike U character, and I was not very happy, Andy.
Everything looks the same except for there's a max concurrent 1000 right after that. That, and then the next line, one line down. I'll copy and paste it here. Well, that's it.
I'd say that looks better.
But it's just
we should run that. Right. So in DNS, that would say send everything through the resolve conf. Right, because of how the canonical naming works from subdomain to TDL or subdomain to domain to TDL. The dot indicates send this everything through that. But that's just how core DNS handles the DNS request out of the cluster for forwarding connections. So the max connection is an extra parameter you don't need. I would save that.
All right, let's save our dot.
Okay.
Oh, I think we're both trying to save.
Oh, I'm not touching it.
Now you could do a rollout of the deployment. Oh, that's so fun.
No, Russell, the Unicode break was not awesome. So not awesome. A guy, actually, he's from Glasgow as well. He's like, is that really the right thing? And I'm looking at it side by side with a working core DNS config, and I'm like, yeah. Unicode. Yay,
So
for core DNS.
That. Okay. You want to just take one more look and see if anything works there? No?
It's trying.
Wait, did we look at any? Wait, was there other? Oh, hold on.
Failed to connect the database. So now our Postgres service may not have any endpoints.
No, you have endpoints.
Maybe we just have to roll out our cluster deployment to get the new resolve config or something.
Okay. Let's see. So oops. Oh, wait a minute. It's frozen for me. Hold on.
I think we can just do a.
Okay. No, it was just stuck. My screen got stuck. Okay.
Come on, give me one. We'll just ignore that one that's been terminating for 2 days.
I still haven't seen that movie, actually.
You've not seen it?
Oh, it's a good movie.
It's good.
No.
So what's that error? What's the end of that error telling you?
Temporary failure in name resolution.
What controls name resolution in the container?
Things.
So can you go into the Klustered container? Can you exec into that pod?
Maybe.
So if you do deploy / yeah, you don't have to anyway. Okay.
Naveen saying net pool. What's this?
Oh, ping won't work. Other reasons.
Yeah, service IP.
Because, right. Which actually, during this week's hackathon, we wrote a daemon set to fix that.
So do we have? We don't have. I don't want to have to remember the name of the package to install dig. Do we have DNS resolution? No.
Well, what's the IP address for DNS in the cluster?
10.0.96.
What's the name server that one's using?
Yeah. Let's just get services. And 96. Oh yeah, 32. Oh.
So what puts that 32 in there? Nope.
Did you not modify the deployment?
Not at all.
The daemon. Do we have a daemon set?
What actually creates the container?
Container D.
And who provides the instructions for that?
Kubelet. Have you modified the kubelet config to pass in a different DNS resolver?
I don't know, have I?
All right. Sorry, you could type.
Are we going to the...
I have tomatoes for throwing, by the way. I see if this wasn't virtual. Throwing them
the kubelet config's not in Etsy.
Oh, yeah, it's an envirlib kubelet.
Let's see. So, var. What is it? Var what?
lib/kubelet.
Lip or lip?
LIB.
LIB. Oh, library. Okay.
Yeah, it's just my funny accent.
Let's see. What was it?
A kubelet, and then there should be a config.yaml. Cluster DNS is fine, so he could be overriding it.
There's 2 other hosts in the cluster, and the core DNS doesn't run on the master.
I always make that mistake when I'm debugging this and don't jump onto the workers. I get too comfortable on the control plane.
So we get it.
All right, do you want to pick one each? I'll grab worker 1, you grab worker 2. We'll check the kubelet config.
All right.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Grab worker 2.
All right. Hopefully you have better luck than I do getting onto that.
Let me see. Oops. Okay.
What? Okay, that's not expected.
Uh-huh. And enough of your games.
Did I do something wrong? I don't think so. Can you try to touch a file?
No, I can't touch a file.
Oh! Okay, I don't think I did that. This makes this really exciting. Because this is what I wanted to do all along.
You have given me a read-only root file system.
This happened on its own, I swear. I'm so happy. I was forcing this to happen, but I recovered it every time because that broke teleport. But it seems like the nonsense I pulled has actually caused a file error.
How did I change the options? I can't remember how to remount and rewrite. I thought it was -o equals.
No, so -o remount comma RW. And then you need to provide the device. So it goes device, then mount point. MD126.
What are they? MD126.
Yeah. It's write protected. I didn't do this. But I'm so happy because this induces the original error I wanted.
I'm going home. Do you know how to fix this, Andy?
Let me try something.
I'm not rebooting another machine. But it would explain why I couldn't teleport onto the session.
Right, because teleport does that audit log, which writes a file. -t ext4 label equals root.
Hey, David, really quickly. On Worker 2, did you change the cluster DNS? IPFS? Is that what you did?
You have to restart kubelet also.
I did not see what you changed it to. Was it 96 or 98?
96.
96. I know what to do.
Yeah, 1096.010. That should be okay there.
Okay.
On worker 1, do fscheck.ext4. Yep. It should be the device. All right, now try to remount. Ooh. Yes.
Okay, that one's dead. But worker 2 is okay, so let's just get our workload running there.
Yeah. You could cordon that node off.
I could set it on fire.
If you actually look at dmessage, you can see where I forced it to mount as read-only, and then it did it on its own a couple thousand seconds later.
Okay, worker 1 is cordoned. Rachel fixed the kubelet configuration, restarted the kubelet.
Yep. Sorry.
Which means we should now be in a position where that might work.
You need the pod to restart so that it picks up. Otherwise, kubelet won't change the resolve conf.
Yeah.
So if you try now, because if those are in terminating state, they're not in the pool.
All right, we have video 1.
Okay, so.
All right, let's edit our deployment.
Okay. There's only one deployed. And let's see.
I think I need a change in career. I think farming looks nice and simple.
It's just two, right?
Yes.
David, something else in there?
Or maybe a flower arranger. That would be quite peaceful. Okay.
9 seconds. Now what's the other?
I think that's still the watch, but I think that's just because my browser cached. Even though I'm telling it to do a hard refresh. There we go.
There we go. Is that it?
Well, that was painful.
When network stopped working, I stopped trying to like write the steps to fix my cluster. So, yeah, well done. I wasn't sure if that was recoverable because what I was worried is that when I restarted the API server, my malicious one deleted the node from etcd. I thought I had corrupted etcd, which is another thing I know you hate people doing.
Can't stand it. Because whenever it goes to networking, BPF or etcd, like all of the tooling and experience I've got is now useless, and that's the challenge. But at the same time, it's episodes like this where, although it's a bit of a challenge, is it you learn all these new little tools and techniques and other things, and that's what's important.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'll be having a beer with Andy anytime in the next couple of years, but I'm just joking. That was a tough break. You put you made us work for that one. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. I learned a lot. That was cool. I might have to physically break your cluster next time I see you in person. I'm just gonna come with the hammer, like. But it was cool. Learned a lot on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, your break. I think a lot of people, like myself, look at the old episode and go, "Ooh, how can I be more creative?" And I like the simplicity in yours because it's like, how well do you know your Kubernetes? Can you just go through like from pod creation to service creation to ingress creation, make sure it's all wired up because it's a lot. As like you said, it's a lot of things developers that I work with internally need help with. Just because like there are moving parts and Kubernetes forces you into a certain deployment model, and so if you don't remember what that deployment model is, it's really easy to forget it. So I think I just have lots of experience kind of going through those primitives.
Yeah, I think it's two breaks from different perspectives. Mine was a developer break. Yours is more like on the platform engineer break. So we got like breaks on both from both perspectives. Yeah.
Well, very well done, both of you. It was an absolute pleasure working through these clusters. So thank you for taking time out of your week for breaking them, joining me, and sharing your knowledge. I also want to thank Teleport for sponsoring the show. Please check out rawkode.live/teleport to support the show. I am going to go and lie down for a bit, but again, thank you everyone. Thank you for watching. Clustered will be back next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.